Good afternoon, my name is Laura and today I'm going to make some homemade pizza. Therefore I need to make some of my pizza crust. I do utilize the bread machine, but I will put the recipe down below in the description. You absolutely could mix it by hand or in a mixer, but I really love using the bread machine on the pizza dough setting. My life is very busy, mom of a 3-year-old, and it keeps me on my toes and running. So this is really nice to be easy and I don't have to think about it while it mixes itself. So 45 minutes has gone by, my dough is done. At this point I could take it and put it in a different container and put it in the fridge and save it for later, but it is dinner time, we are ready to eat. And my dough recipe does make enough for 2 pizzas, at least the size that we use. And so I'm only going to use half for the pizza. So as I'm spreading this, I'm noticing it's kind of bouncing back. So I'm going to let my dough rest for a few minutes while I get my other ingredients out, just to let the gluten chill so I can spread it a little easier. I'm drizzling a little olive oil on the top of the dough that I haven't touched yet, just to keep it from drying out. We have some leftover barbecued pulled pork, so we're going to have a barbecue pulled pork pizza tonight for dinner. Last minute, I decided to stuff the crust, and I like to use string cheese. I bought a Costco size bag, and my son decided he doesn't like that kind of string cheese, so I've been trying to find ways of using it, and this works perfectly. Gonna start off with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. It's my husband's favorite, and it's what I use to dress the pork with already, so might as well continue that. So that's gonna be our sauce base. Now I'm going to add in our leftover barbecue pork. Nice, healthy, generous layer. So now I need to put mozzarella cheese on, and this is Great Value brand mozzarella cheese, and I do not like it. It burns really easily, and so I'm just trying to finish up this last bag. I definitely prefer the Costco or the Sam's Club brand of shredded mozzarella. So my son and I love banana peppers on so many things, one of our favorite being pizza. So I had to dollop half of the pizza with some. So as I've been making this, I've had my oven preheating with my cast iron pan in it. Normally I could do 500 degrees for about 12 minutes, but because of this cheese, I had to drop it to 425, and it ended up taking like 20 minutes, and the cheese still was not great. So now I have this other half, and I decided to try it and do a dessert. I've never done anything like this before with pizza dough, but what could go wrong, right? decided to get out flour and brown sugar. If I would have had oats, I would have added that as well. So I'm just gonna make like a crumble topping. The cans there that I'm using are fried apple cans, so it's just canned apples with a cinnamon sugar kind of syrup with it. So I'm gonna chop up my butter, throw in brown sugar and flour, and kind of use my pastry blender to get it in smaller bites. And that there would be Bandit. That's our mini Australian Shepherd. He always likes to come and see what I'm up to in the kitchen. So I'm going to open my cans, drain out the liquid. At this point, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it. If I wanted to reduce it and drizzle it on top, I wasn't really sure. So I'm just going to try and spread these out as kind of an even layer, but still have a gap around, because I decided it's going to be more like a tart. So I'm going to eventually fold the crust over the top a bit. So now I'm just going to put the crumble topping on. Like I said, I really missed not having the oatmeal on it, but it all worked out. So I'm going to put that on top. more I got to thinking, I was a little worried because the crust was not a sweet crust or have any sort of sugar in it at all. So I decided to sprinkle on a little extra brown sugar just to help maybe accommodate for that. I also found my cinnamon and added some extra cinnamon on top. Now I'm just going to take the crust and fold it over the top and make it somewhat presentable, and no pockets where it could ooze out in the oven. At this point I thought I was done, and my husband's like, hey, you forgot the caramel. So I did take some just caramel and drizzle it over the top, and then I got scared that maybe it was gonna burn, so I stopped. Now I had just taken the pizza out of the oven, so I knew my cast iron pan was still preheated. So I transferred that in, popped it in the oven. So as you can see, the cheese was burnt. I don't like that cheese, but in the corner there, that's what my pizzas normally look like. Perfectly cooked, delicious. And this one was too. We ended up eating it. That was my son and I's plate with some homemade pickles. And we got finished with it before this beautiful dessert even came out of the oven. What I would do differently for this dessert was definitely add the oatmeal. And my husband really wanted more caramel on the outside because it really, well, caramelized, if you will, and added a different depth of flavor. But it was so good.